ADUs, or accessory dwelling units, are one of the fastest growing conversations we're having with homeowners across Cache Valley. The first question is almost always the same. How much is this actually going to cost? Well, here's the honest answer. Before we get into numbers, let me tell you why we're seeing so much interest in ADUs right now. Property prices in northern Utah have climbed significantly. Building on land you already own has become a lot more affordable than buying a new piece of land and starting from scratch. You already have the property, you already have the utilities ran to the site, and you end up with a structure that can generate rental income, house a family member, or add significant value to your property. We're getting calls about ADUs just about every day now. It's not a niche conversation anymore. It's becoming a standard option for homeowners across Cache Valley. Now let's talk numbers. ADU costs in Utah in 2026 vary significantly depending on what type you're building and how complex the project is. A garage or basement conversion, where the main structure already exists, typically runs in the range of $75,000 to $170,000, depending on the level of finish and what's involved in making the space habitable. An attached ADU, built directly onto your home, sharing a wall and sometimes utilities, typically runs between $150,000 and $250,000. And lastly, a fully detached ADU, essentially a smaller standalone house on your property, is where the cost climbs the most. Expect $150,000 on the low end and $400,000 and above on larger and more complex builds. In Cache Valley specifically, I'd say a realistic mid-range budget for a legitimate permitted ADU is somewhere in the range of $150,000 to $200,000 for a well-built functioning unit. Here's what most homeowners don't anticipate when they start pricing their ADU. You're essentially building a new home. Not a room addition, not a basement finish, a fully independent living structure with its own foundation, framing, siding, roofing, and utilities. That last one, utilities, is where the cost surprises people the most. Running the water, sewer, electrical from the street or the main house to the ADU can run between $8,000 and $18,000 and above for just the connections alone. If your lot has really rocky soil, which is common for some parts of Cache Valley, excavation costs can push that higher. And then you've got the interior. Kitchen, bathroom, HVAC, insulation, flooring, finishes. It all adds up the same way it does in a remodel. One thing I'll say plainly. If a contractor tells you they could build out a full permitted ADU for $60,000 in 2026, they are cutting corners somewhere. Permits, fire blocking, waterproofing, utility connections, those aren't optional. They're what makes an ADU safe, legal, and insurable. A realistic bid reflects the cost of doing it right. So if the number sounds too good to be true, ask specifically what's included and what the permit and inspection process looks like. ADUs are a real investment, but in this market, they're also one of the most compelling ones a Cache Valley homeowner can make. Rental income, added equity, and multi-generational living, the case for building one is stronger now than it has been. If you're thinking about building an ADU on your property and you want an honest conversation of what it would take, go ahead and reach out. We'll talk you through it.